Hey up YouTube, hopefully, hi, round here, hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. Trying out a new microphone system today, thank you to my channel sponsors who, for whatever reason, wish to remain nameless for this video. But anyway, they don't want the recognition. I think it was more a gift than a sponsorship thing. Just take that last thing off. What we're going to look at today is this guy. And you can see this guy's looking a little bit unhappy. It's a jalapeno that I overwintered last year. Yes, it looks unhappy. I didn't do the best job at overwintering it. One of the main things I did wrong was I didn't take enough of the root ball off, downgrade the pot size, although this still isn't as much of a downgrade in pot size as I thought it was. Yes, I didn't downgrade the pot size enough to be able to then, when it comes to summer, to pot it back up. So we're going to look at potting this up now. We're going to do it together now. So I'll see you in a sec. Right, so we've a couple of pot options here. We'll see when it comes to getting that out as to what's for the best. But I'm going to start with, why would you want to overwinter when it's so easy to grow a pepper plant from seed? And it is. I do it 30-40 times a year at least. The reason for me with this particular pepper plant is we seem to have stumbled across a variety, or shall we say a particular plant, that has all the jalapeno flavour but very, very little heat. Which means that when I make things like jalapeno poppers and things like that, it means that they're safe for the whole family. This was never marketed as a mild pepper. It's just kind of panned out that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim back, and it's going to be really savage. We're going to trim back all this foliage, and we're going to pull it out the pot. Now, the thing I didn't do last year was I didn't wash the roots off, because that's the scary part. You wash off the roots so that you can trim them back. However, then when it comes back to putting it in the soil back in the pot again, you have to be extremely careful. Reason being is if you get a load of air pockets, a load of air holes, the roots will die, and in turn the plant won't survive overwintering. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's get it trimmed back. 'Tis a little early in the season to be doing this, but with this being in an already weakened state, I mean, the new growth is nice and vibrant and green, but you can see all this midsection here is really, really poorly. There's no insects, there's no virus, there's no fungus. It's pretty much just a lack of nutrition. We're going to cut off the majority of this new growth. And I haven't got my proper secateurs at home, so I'm going to have to fight it. I'm also going to propagate, or try to propagate, as many of these branches as I can. But for now, we're just going to chop them off. Now, you need to be quite selective when it's coming to the branches that you're removing, because you've got these nodes. Now, if I took this branch and cut it here, yes, it may well grow again out of the node down here, but I'd rather give it a better chance and cut it up there. You know, I'm not taking these branches for the sake of cuttings. I will go through them after and see if there are any that are suitable to keep for cuttings. So these want to come off completely the same as if you were pruning a tree. They're crossing over in the central mass, which is a thing you don't want to happen. Now, how severe does that look? What that's going to hopefully encourage the plant to do is it will show me whether or not it's survived this process. It's another reason I've started this process so early, is because starting this process with this particular tree so early is enabling me to sort of put it somewhere safe, out of the way, with enough time for it to show me whether or not it's survived the repotting procedure, because it will start to put on a little bit of new growth before the season comes to an end. So now comes the difficult part. We've got to get it out of this pot. Trying not to break all the roots. Excuse me a moment, I'm going to take this down to my compost bin. Right, and we're back. No easy way to do that, unfortunately, so that takes a bit of time. But we're at a decent sort of point now. So yes, very messy job, but we've got there now. You can see we've gone from a root ball that was sort of filling this bucket to one that is actually quite small, and I may not need to trim, but I'm going to risk it. So what I'm looking for really is a nice tight root ball that's going to help the plant. That feels so wrong. It's going to help the plant and encourage it to grow more roots. I've probably taken about a third away there. But now comes the tricky part. I need to sort of open these up just a little bit. And then we have to get this to take in some new compost. Now, I don't know if this is going to be beneficial at all, but what I've actually done is I've allowed this compost to dry a little. In the hope that the finer, drier sort of particles will be able to get in amongst all these fine little hair roots as much as possible. Now, I'm not putting any additional feed into this, because compost is good for about 6 weeks worth of feed, and by then I want this plant to have shut itself down. I don't want the plant to still be growing by that point, so I'm not adding any fish blood and bone, any grow more, any 6X, anything like that. And I'm just going to occasionally give it just a little shake in the hope that I'm encouraging the fine particulates to sort of work their way around the roots. And then we're going to give it a good soak, and we're going to leave it for a good 20 minutes, half an hour. Really good soak. Once again, trying to settle that compost in and around the roots. Right, now we're starting to run out of the plant, so I'm not going to swamp it any more than that. So make sure that it's time to get muddy. So I'll give it a little jiggle, a bit of movement, try and encourage that compost to get in and amongst those roots. And then I'm going to clean this off. So we've done the trimming, we've got it repotted, we've taken the fruit off. There was a fair amount of fruit on it, a lot more than I thought there was. And from here, I'm just going to let this settle back down. I'm going to find a tray, hopefully a gravel tray to put it in. And this is now going to find its new home inside. So I'm just going to rinse it off make sure it's nice and clean. I may remove some of these, in fact we will remove, because there's a clump of new growth here and a clump of new growth there. So I'm just going to take off all these new leaves. In fact, I've broken that one whilst washing, so I'll take that off. Take that off because that's going to cross that one. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll survive this. It's quite an ordeal. There's a few flower buds in here. I'll probably take them off once they get a bit bigger, because I need the plant now to concentrate on settling into its new compost. But for this video, that's all she wrote. And that is me attempting to overwinter this jalapeno for its 3rd year. Stay tuned for some updates and we'll see how it goes. Oh, before I go, actually it's a bit windy, we might not get away with it. I need to do an update on my sunflower challenge, and I just waiting on a clear day really. We'll try again tomorrow. So yeah, remember, like, share, subscribe. It really helps us out here. I'm going to find this a new home. In fact, it's stopped running through now, so I'm going to give it another soaking. And I'll leave it to settle. Wash everything down and take it inside. I'll see you later.